Welcome to Airborne on 88.5 FM and staugustine.com, bringing interesting people from your world so you can stay dialed into your community and the folks who make it tick. I want to welcome to the couch today for Airborne and the First Coast Technical College, Merlene Thomas. Merlene, how are you today?
I'm great, Matt. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm just looking forward to sharing all the information with your viewers here today.
Same here. As someone who has a history with First Coast Technical College myself, I'd like to hear more about its history, and can you give us a little bit of background, where it began, when it began, some of that stuff for our listeners?
Absolutely. Well, First Coast Technical College actually began, Matt, in 1965 as St. Augustine Technical Center. We opened to serve the community and training for vocational training in and around the community for high school and adult students. Fctc then went to First Coast Technical Institute because we service the Clay, Putnam, and St. Johns County areas. So really St. Augustine Technical Center did not warrant that name. We changed our name to First Coast Technical Institute. In 1999, we went to a charter facility. We are still sponsored by the St. Johns County School District, but that means we have our own board of directors that governs us and gives us input, in addition to steering committees as to what is needed for business and industry training here in our area. In 1999, excuse me, we went to First Coast Technical College. And from there, we now service all 3 counties, and we have over 80 programs in vocational training. And the reason that we're college is because we have articulation agreements with various colleges in and around the area.
Tell us about that.
Well, someone may, for example, want to become a registered nurse, and they may go to First Coast Technical College and get their LPN, licensed practical nurse training first.
Right.
And then they can bridge with St. Johns River, and they can go on and get their registered nurses certification and their training. Same with our EMT, paramedic, and firefighting programs. If you're in culinary arts, perhaps you start and you get your certification from the American Culinary Federation with First Coast Technical College. And then you go on and you get your hospitality restaurant management degree by going to FSU. So we have a lot of bridges and a lot of agreements with folks in and around the area and the state, so our students can get their certification within 14 months as a rule, and then they can go on and get their degree in whatever they choose to do.
That's terrific. Now, you mentioned the articulation agreement, and some of the programs, nursing and EMT and such, as well as culinary arts. What are some of the other programs at First Coast Technical College?
Well, I think one that has seen definitely a resurgence and something that we will all need is health occupations.
Right.
We have 8 different programs under the umbrella of health occupations, from practical nursing, medical assistant. You go to a doctor's office and you're going to spend an hour in a doctor's office, but you actually see the doctor for 5 minutes. The other 55, if that. The other 55 minutes you're working with someone to get your height, your weight, and to go through your chart, your blood pressure, maybe you're getting an EKG. All of those are done by a medical assistant.
Right.
They may be by a medical administrative specialist. We have phlebotomy, maybe you've had some blood drawn. That's definitely a technician's job on how to draw blood if you've ever had blood drawn.
Right.
The first time does not always prove the easiest.
Yeah.
We also have dental assisting, which is one of our newest programs.
Oh, great.
Massage therapy, and being in Florida, as big as we are, massage therapy, if they want to go on and become a physical therapist, that is available to them. So health occupations is definitely something that is going to be needed by all of us baby boomers, without a doubt, and something that we've seen a resurgence of in recent months is automotive technology. With our recession, people are keeping their vehicles longer. They're not trading them in every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So as they keep their vehicle longer, they're going to have the oil changed, they're going to have those brakes checked and all the different fluids checked and so on. So we've had several phone calls in our automotive program for technicians, skilled technicians. And it used to be, I mean, my dad, he was a mechanic, and he came home greasy every day, but when you see someone as an automotive technician today, they've got light khaki pants and latex gloves that they put on. They're no longer grease monkeys.
They're operating computers.
That's right, and you have to have computers in no matter what program you're in, from culinary arts to cosmetology.
You mentioned earlier about the steering committees. How integral is that as part of the development and the progression of these programs?
Well, I think it's imperative. If you don't have the support of the community that you live in and the community that supports your programs, you have to have that.
Are these business partnerships?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I use our agri-science program. We have 5 programs underneath that. It's turf grass operations. We all know that Florida, being the golf course mecca that it is, you have to keep that turf grass going, whether it's the Daytona 500 when you see Jimmy Johnson spinning donuts down there, or whether or not it's Tiger Woods playing up here at the TPC.
Right.
So we have irrigation operations, can't live without that, even though we're going to more xeriscaping. Nursery and horticulture, so we have a 10,000 square foot greenhouse. But back to the turf grass operations, I have to tell you, our students work really hard with the TPC. They're going to do an alternate site location and training in a couple weeks. So prior to the TPC every year, our students spend 2 weeks helping the folks over there getting ready for national TV.
Wow.
And in exchange for that, sometimes they get practice round tickets for their efforts. So that's a good thing. And when they're maybe working on the azaleas over here, and then you see Tiger Woods practicing, or David Duval, or any of the big-time golfers over in that area. So that's in our ag program.
So the TPC then becomes one of those business partners we're talking about.
Yes, they are.
And you may have them on the steering committee or
Absolutely.
representation from them. What a great partnership.
It is, and our steering committee's members meet 3 times a year, and they are the ones that give input to the administration on what is needed for the program to survive.
Wow.
And what is needed for the program, for me to hire as an employer, as a business member of the community, what is needed for students and employees.
Are there services available to the students as they become enrolled? Are there things that, besides just the learning their art or their craft or their profession?
Absolutely. Well, students are mainly adults, okay?
Right.
And our demographic primarily is 18 to 30. So in that age bracket, you have students that have children of their own. They may need daycare. We have an on-campus daycare provider. It's called the Tech Tots. Ages 2 through 5. Right now we have about 55 children. So if you have a child ages 2 through 5, they can commute to school with you every day, and the daycare is 2 buildings over from
That's
where your
terrific.
class is taking place.
That's excellent. That really is.
Cosmetology, maybe you're dressed for success, you need a manicure, a pedicure, a haircut. Those
sure.
services are provided through our cosmetology program, and we're also open to the community.
Yeah.
My in-laws come every month and get their hair cut, and it may take a little bit longer. The students are in training. I mean, it's not the first week that they're out there doing your hair, but and they're second-year students.
I've recommended the massage program to people all the time. I tell them they need bodies to work on.
Well, we have a full clinic that is open.
Get it, need, K-N-E-A-D? Oh, never mind.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
That pertains to culinary as well. Yes, as the old adage goes, you can't learn to cook by reading a book. You've got to
Right.
get in there and
And
knead the dough.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, our massage therapy program, we had an email that came out last week. They were doing 15-minute chair massages. So you can imagine, first come, first served, every
Yeah.
employee and student is
Yeah.
out there in a rush to get that done. But we do have a full clinical massage, and based on where the students are in their curriculum, they will open those doors, and you can get an hour clinical massage.
Wow. Well, Marlene, I want to thank you for coming in and sharing just this overview of First Coast Technical College with our viewers. And I hope you could return, and maybe we can delve into some of those programs in a little more depth and
I'd love
learn
to.
a little bit more about each one, or as many ones as we can. And I say this not only as a fan, but also as a graduate. You did have a drafting program
We
at
did,
one
we
time
did.
back in the late 70s, early 80s. Mr. Willie was my instructor, and that was back in the days when we used straight edges and paper and pencils and all
The
that
CAD
stuff.
program had not been invented.
The CAD program had just rolled out, and it was a great experience. I graduated from there, and I loved every minute I was there. I got good work after that, and I'm still a fan. And like I say, I hope you can come back and tell us about these programs, maybe in a little more detail.
Would love to. I think it's a great opportunity for folks, and again, if you'd like to come out and take a tour, we'd be happy to have you.
Excellent. Well, Marlene Thomas, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on Airborne, and I hope to see you real soon. You've been Airborne with Matt Jeffs on 88.5 FM and staugustine.com, bringing interesting people from your world so you can stay dialed into your community and the folks who make it tick. See you next time, everybody.